So speaking of men.
Yes.
It's so fun to see this as a book. I still have my postcard, by
Yeah.
the way, from our original barbecue bus run. Yeah, one. But what is the role of women in whole hog barbecue? And in particular, what's the role around the nation's first water cooler? That's a really profound metaphor, but who's there?
So these pits remain very masculine sites. There are female pitmasters who have been at the job for a long time, not whole hog pitmasters, but throughout the nation, female pitmasters. Some like Helen Thomas outside Memphis, who's been at it a long time and hasn't gotten a lot of recognition until recently. There are no female whole hog pitmasters, although in the telling of the Dennis/Jones family of Aden, there's two restaurants there that are their cousins, Bum's Restaurant and the more famous Skylight Inn. In their telling of history, which is a telling of this pitmaster beget this pitmaster beget this pitmaster beget, and it just goes back. It's like very biblical, and of course, and in the telling, one of these men several generations ago did not cook. His wife cooked, and he would cart the barbecue by muleback in a wagon to the town of Aden. Which is interesting because Larry Dennis, who is the face and owner of Bum's Restaurant, which is a place I dearly love in downtown Aden, he is I believe he's 55 years old now. And when I first met him several years ago in 2011, he said he only has 10 to 15 years left, and then the restaurant will close. And I said, why is the restaurant closing? The Skylight Inn has been around since 1947. Like, why does Bum's Restaurant have to close? And he said, because I had 3 daughters. 3 daughters who are married. I asked why, the daughters don't want the business? He said, no, he wouldn't let the daughters have the business. They can do and is telling whole hog barbecue. Did their husbands want it? No. I also think the daughters might be too smart to get into this business. I mean, it is brutal labor. They all went on to get college degrees and have careers. But I think it's a generational thing. If I was to ask Larry Dennis, and I'll ask him next week, do you think there'll be can a woman be a whole hog pitmaster? I think he'll say no. I think men of his generation will say no. I think Sam Jones or Rodney Scott, who are my age or a bit older, would say, yeah, absolutely, there can be a female pitmaster. Can there be a female whole hog pitmaster?
We're in Chapel Hill, so of course.
Yeah, I mean, it's pitmasters are now.
But maybe there's a different question. I mean,
Yeah.
it's so who cares if women are pitmasters?
Right.
They're
Yeah.
having these men.
Right.
They produce these men.
They produce these
bring
men,
these
yeah.
men into the world,
Yeah.
and then they raise them up in these barbecue families.
Yeah.
And they provide all that is there to allow them to raise up and know those cultures. And I mean, that's more interesting. And I hope that as you go along, I mean, I know you look at all that, but their role is nurturing and creating those homes in which these guys raise up with their sisters or whatever. But that's the other piece of it.
Absolutely, and follow their fathers and uncles
Yeah,
and grandfathers
right.
into the business.
Right.
And
And those are family businesses.
they are almost all family
Right,
businesses. I mean,
right.
a new whole hog barbecue restaurant is
Right.
something that it can only be opened within the past 2 years,
Right,
really.
right.
The newest one before that opened in 1986 by a retired couple who's still going at it. They're in their 80s now. And that place is interesting because they run it together. They're the Grady's. They're in Dudley, North Carolina.
Yeah.
And he, with the help of a younger man, puts the pigs on the pit, hooks it with wood and some charcoal, and together him and his wife kind of disassemble the pigs. And but they also run this. If I had like a one last whole hog meal, it would be there because it's a beautiful space, and everything. They have a whole range of greens and beans and peas and desserts that come out of that kitchen, and it's all really great stuff. And they share in the work. It's kind of it's the only one that a couple runs together. It's a really beautiful place. Yeah.
Where do you see, what's your next?
My next